Hi, how are you doing? Last weekend I finally went back to the cinema and I was something great experience. I really missing the big screens. Have you seen a good action film lately?
Oh, definitely. A few weeks ago, I watched John Wick Chapter 4. It was a terrific action film. Honestly, I think it's one of the best in the Wolf franchise. The cast was amazing. It's starred Keanu Reeves, of course, but Donnie Yen was also incredible as a blind assassin.
That sounds interesting. I've seen the phrase too, but binding the whole more how the one how was the history.
The history followed John as he traveled all around the world, from Osaka to Berlin, trying to find a way to finally defeat the High Table. He fought those of assassins in the streets of Paris. In addition, the stunt choreography was breathtaking. It felt like a dance. However, you should be prepared. The movie was quite long, almost 3 hours.
Wow, they were house a long time for action movie. I want to count a specific detail turn. What was happening in the history when the main villain, the Marquis, appeared for the first time?
While John was in Japan preparing his weapons and was seeking help from an old friend, the villain ordered a massive attack of the Osaka Continental Hotel. It was a very intense moment because everything was peaceful on second, and then the action started immediately.
That sounds like classic John Wick essence. I love that intensity.
It really was. But if you want something with a different beat, I also saw Top One Maverick a few months ago, and I absolutely loved it. Tom Cruise and Miles Teller were in the cast, and the chemistry between them was perfect.
Oh, I have heard so much. I would take one. Remember the original movie from Yahoo? Can you describe the new story for me?
Sure, the story was about a Maverick returned to the flight school to train a group of elite young pilots for a nearly impossible mission. He was such a brave and dedicated teacher, but it wasn't easy for him. On the other hand, he had many emotional problems with Rooster, who is the son of his old friend. Thus, in conclusion, it was a very emotional and fast-paced movie.
I'm curious if the flakes essence. I hear they visit Reddit. What was happening when the finalists there, the final mission?
It was incredible. The scenery was out of this world, while the pilots were flying through a very narrow canyon and extremely low altitudes. The enemy radars detect them. They were moving at high speed, applying high G-force. When the missile started flying everywhere, my hair was racing the whole time.
That seconds incredibly intense. I had a spoiler, but I have to know that the actuality to read that mission?
Yes, the performer read Mirror to escape. In addition, there was a heroic moment. The Maverick saved, saved Rooster at the last second. It was a really edge of your seat moment. Oh, and Kilmer had a short but very emotional scene as Eastman. Everyone in the cinema was crying during that part.
I try to find an action movie that makes people cry. Why would films sound fantastic and I can't decide which one to watch first? I think we all have had a movie marathon and watch an action movie toward the next Friday.
That's a great idea. I'll bring the Blu-rays and I'll buy the popcorn. Should we invite anyone else?
Let's keep it simple for now. Just the thought of summit you can actually tell how things a student.
Perfect. It's a deal. See you then.
Okay.